Well, that's one, Doc. I'll have to keep my rifle. I can't hear.
Somebody's radio is down.
That you?
That was hers.
Wasn't you?
Stop it. We're ready. Yes, we're ready.
We are ready. To the February Board of Directors meeting here at Riverbend. Call to order. We have almost everyone here. Marianne will be down shortly.
She said she was on her way down.
She's on her way down, so we'll count her here. So the first thing is the adoption of the agenda. I'm gonna make one change to the agenda, it's that's the building engineer's report. I'm gonna put up, right after the correspondence to the board, as Adam has a thing he has to get to. Okay, so, with that change, any other adjustments to the agenda? Al, oh yes, we have to, Al, will report about Lansdowne Conservancy. So you all know what's going on. Anything else? All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second? Thank you. And all right, we will move to, there is, okay, now we have the approval of the board of directors meeting minutes for December 19th. Because these are two old things, so I just want to get them out. So this is the December 19th board of directors meeting on 2024. Is that any, look through it, any changes or corrections? If not, we have a motion to approve.
So move.
Seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the other one is the approval of the organizational meeting minutes from October 15th, 2020. Any changes, corrections? I may have a motion.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're to resident forum. Any resident would like to speak to an agenda item at this point? Yes, sir.
I would like to make the motion that we all sing a big happy birthday to our manager.
We did already. We already.
Motion to that.
Did you get a cupcake?
Aw.
Thank you, Don.
I don't think so.
Okay, we will then go to, there is no action in lieu and no correspondence from the board, so we'll start with, our engineer, Adam, and your report, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have two reports, one for the month of December and one for January. For the month of December, we had several different things happen in the building. Dyno Electric was on site to perform the annual tamper and flow inspection for the stairwells and the pump room. There were two deficiency repairs that were found. The first was a drip that was on the test nipple in the second floor and stairwell 1. The second was a bad OS&Y outside yoke and screw tamper on the dry system control valve. Both deficiencies have been repaired. The photo cell for one of the aircraft warning lights on the top of the building failed. We ordered a new one and Sheldon and I installed that and we changed all the bulbs for all 4 lights up there. Hart National was on site in December and did the residential dryer vent cleaning as well as the 22 main vertical stacks and the fans on the roof. We were able to look at the main stacks when the technician had the shafts open and found that the buildup was heavy after 3 years. And he recommended that we take a look at them in 2 years and see what the buildup looks like and make a decision at that point whether to clean them or not. It was pretty heavy after 3 years, so we just want to open them up in 2 years and take a look at the buildup and then maybe clean them a little bit sooner than every 3 years. We had a few minor water leaks in the building that were addressed promptly and resulted with no damage. So for the month of January, again, we had many different things happen in the building. As many of you know from reading the ATB, there was a pinhole leak in a gas valve located in lower A garage. We have been monitoring this area more frequently and have been doing weekly soap bubble tests to check for any leaks. January also brought us a few snowstorms to deal with. Our equipment and plans seem to work out well. LWVA has replenished our salt supply and we hope we don't have to use it. Our yearly elevator recertification inspection is scheduled for March 10th. This is the test where NEIS and TK elevators run each of our cars on emergency generator power alone, along with other tests and inspection. This was due to be scheduled for January 31st, but due to their workload, March 10th is the next closest date. A few weeks ago, when checking on the equipment in the pump room, we noticed that the inspection tag on the backflow preventers were out of date. I reached out to Backflow Technology and scheduled to have them inspected. The inspector found that the backflow valve on the sprinkler side was faulty and had no record of it ever being rebuilt. Loudon Water requires these valves to be rebuilt every 5 years. There is a record of the domestic side being rebuilt in 2021, and that will need to be rebuilt next year. Backflow Technology is scheduled to rebuild the fireside valve on February 20th. An update on that didn't go well. It was so old, they could not isolate the valve. So we are now in need of replacing the entire backflow assembly, which is scheduled for March 10th. This is a lot bigger of a project, but it's something that we need to do to have our fire protection working properly. So you'll hear all about that in February's report.
That will be.
Approximately about 7,000 for the assembly.
And will it affect any residents in terms of? water shutoff?
There's gonna be a notice that's gonna go out. The domestic side will not be affected, but we will be without fire protection, so we'll be on fire watch. The fire department's been notified. Dyno Electric will be on site. We were putting together a fire watch plan. The repair should only take about 4 hours. So we're gonna start it at 8 AM, but as far as the domestic side of water, we will have Loudon Water out to shut us off at the street for the fire side only.
That's it?
The in-unit inspections and drain treatment are underway. We appreciate everyone's cooperation and look forward to the positive results for the building.
Okay, any questions, other questions for Abby? All right, thank you, Beto.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to Lansdowne, which is the.
Be careful.
Thank you.
I'll start off by giving a brief overview of what happened at the February 10th meeting, which seems like 2 months ago. The board meeting, last board meeting on February 5th. The board formed a subcommittee of the board for the purpose of reviewing and suggesting updates to the policy resolution. And that working group is comprised of Barry Berger, Wes Henderson, and Larry Burton. They had their first committee working group meeting on Monday. The board approved the proposed supplementary declaration of easement for Lansdowne Woods regarding overlook, which has been recorded, and now we can record finally the third amended and restated declaration for Lansdowne Woods, and it's my understanding that that should be done in there's more. The board appointed committee members from Blue Ridge and to activities from this building. Tuck Williams was appointed to the building ground committee. They named the committee chairs for the various committees. Lansdowne Woods, Peggy King for activities, Green Day for building grounds, Wayne Kaiser for Budget and Finance, Kathleen Hughes for Communications, and Peggy Hammer for External Communications working through. And Mary Fernie is gonna, be the leader of the, subcommittee for the policy resolutions. And then two more things that they did this past meeting, they approved the draft of the revised waiver release and assumption of risk for association facilities, which is basically just a piece of paper that you sign when you get access to the clubhouse or the gym or the specialized rooms like the ceramics studio or the woodwork studio. And they also approved the flower pot selection for Blue Ridge and River. Building and grounds committees and budget and finance committees did not meet this month. As I said, the policy resolution 43 did have their first meeting on Monday. They will be meeting every month, going forward on the third Tuesday of each month at 1 o'clock in the theaters. We had some dog cleaning out of the clubhouse, last week, but there's still more to be completed, so several things that still need to go up to over the next couple of weeks, they'll be coming back to those. And, then that program will be completed. Fire alarm testing we have going on at the clubhouse is coming Monday, March the 3rd, just as FYI. Yellowstone should be coming out to within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And they also last week worked on the wisteria at the front of Arches to the community, give us some nice rooms this spring. And I already mentioned that the supplementary declaration was recorded and that's for the third. And the next board meeting is next Wednesday, March 5th. There's not a whole lot on the agenda. There is a request from Bright Star, which is one of our tenants of the business center. That's on the agenda. There's committee members that need to be appointed to various committees. Lisa Conte from this building to the communications committee. And was there another one from here? No, it's from my colleagues. Okay, and so they'll do that. And yesterday I got, I don't know who's giving the minutes out concerns. Things wrong is okay. So you're gonna say something about that? Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna put that on the board agenda too, as I didn't get it yesterday after this, that's right. Yeah, I have it. Thank you. But anyway, that's all I have. Anybody have anything?
Any questions for him? Yes, Debbie.
Was the building and grounds moved from March 13th to the third Tuesday of the month?
No, that's the policy resolutions for.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yes. Building and grounds will be the same as the second to Thursday.
okay. All right, thank you.
And your stuff is on the. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you and happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Peggy.
Hi, everybody. The LWVA Activities Committee met on Friday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day.
Just talk about it. It's not-
Okay, it's not hard.
No.
I said it was.
I know, but
Oh, okay. So movies are still on hold until some technical difficulties are resolved. And we're not sure if and when it will be resolved, so there's some question about the movies going forward. New resident tours of the clubhouse continue monthly. It's in the connector the day that they have them. Mostly Irish will be back to perform on March 13th. So if everybody went the last time, they were really good. They were here the end of December and it was fabulous. This time it will not be free, so I'm prepared to pay probably $10 or something like that. Get in. They're very popular. And of course, they won't be here on St. Patrick's Day because they are always playing at the restaurant, the Brogue, the old Brogue in McLean, so they're always there. We have several new activities committee members. This just started in the last month or two, and they had some great ideas about future programs. including a Kentucky Derby event with best hat contest. One for homemade hats, one for store-bought hats, and one for men's hats. So we'll have 3 different contests, so that'll be fun. So remember to stay informed about upcoming programs by reading the connector. Any questions?
Any questions for her? Okay, thank you. Then move on to budget and finance. Bob?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Building and grounds, Maria, I know they didn't meet, so there's nothing to report from building and grounds. And communications committee, Maria?
Hear me?
I don't think it's working.
Oh, okay. So I'll try to talk a little louder. Communications Committee met on February 14th. And we confirmed what we were doing in the March newsletters. We also had someone new that attended. Paul Wilton from Magnolias has joined us. And she is encouraging people to go onto the Facebook page as much as possible and has written a little bit about that. We're trying to get more responses to the pet pictures and funny stories, but they don't seem to be coming in as quickly as we would like them to. Articles for the March newsletter were determined, and then April or later articles were suggested. There was a guest there who then was invited to join us, and that is a man named Paul Dunham from Blue Ridge. We suggested articles for April and determined our next meeting would be on March 14th. That's it.
Any questions? All right, thank you. The Conservancy, actually, I was gonna put that later, but we can do it now. Lansdowne Conservancy report. The Conservancy, look, this is dead. This thing stops. So the Conservancy is looking to its senior class portion of the members on the Conservancy Board of Directors. And the senior class is Lansdowne Woods, the Vistas, and what's the other one? Cadence. So those 3 communities make up the senior class within Lansdowne Woods Conservancy. And what we're going to be going forward is that on a 3-year basis, Lansdowne Woods for the next 3 years will have basically be the senior representative, the senior class rep. But remember, the senior class rep doesn't rep just us, it reps the other 2 as well. So you're talking that our person will be there for a 3-year term to represent the senior class within the Lansdowne Conservancy. After that, the Vistas will have someone who will become part of the senior class, and they will represent the senior class for a 3-year term. And then finally, Cadence will have their person, and that person will be in the 3-year, and then runs around back to us again for another 3 years. But again, just like the senior rep person isn't repping just that organization or that HOA, it's repping all of them, so they have a voice whenever they make decisions. So for the next 3 years, we're in charge. And we are looking at, Marianne, his name's last name, I don't remember. And she will be our rep, or the senior rep for Lansdowne Conservancy for the next 3 years. Okay, any questions?
Anybody know my last name?
I think it's Davis, Marianne Davis. She's in Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge. So that's the update on Lansdowne Conservancy. Now we go to Riverbend committee meetings and activities. Helen?
If somebody else comes in.
Okay. Budget and finance. Building facilities, Ken.
Budget and Finance met yesterday.
What?
Budget and Finance met yesterday.
What I met yesterday?
Yes.
But they didn't, I guess Bob left, so there wasn't anybody there,
Yeah.
so whatever. You know, it's on.
Okay, the meeting that we had this month, things that we talked about. We reviewed the landscaping proposal that we have with Yellowstone. We presented it to them, they sent it back. So we took a look at this and we are, well, it's on. I don't know what to say. I'll speak up a little louder. The Lights on, so anyway, we said, okay, everything is set for that. There was a couple minor changes. And Debbie has sent this proposal over to LWVA. And that'll be discussed during the LWVA Building and Grounds.
March 13th at 10 o'clock,
10 o'clock,
10 o'clock.
right?
The other thing that we discussed was on TK Elevator preventive maintenance contract. We voted to approve a contract for TK. This was for $4,860 paid quarterly. Total amount would be $19,440. This resolution passed unanimously. So we'll have TK Elevator as our PM contractor. The other thing we looked at was solar lights. Our committee was out in front of Riverbend along the sidewalk. I'm sure you probably see some dark areas as you're walking down the sidewalk. So we wanted to try to alleviate those dark areas by installing solar lights where it was dark. So we had passed that and we have a proposal that we had to send over to LWVA along with all the things that we have to accompany it. And then we have that over to LWVA. This will also go in front of the Building and Grounds Committee on the 13th as well. So the only other thing, the last thing that we talked about was you've heard about cell towers. Are we going to be able to get them and not get them? We don't know yet. But there is a company that was Vertical Consultants, and what they do, they provide a service where we give information about Riverbend. We send this information to this company. They in turn send our information to about 40 cell tower companies to see if they would be interested in, possibly, the companies that would utilize Riverbend, if they'd be interested in putting the cell tower on the roof of Riverbend. I don't know what the answer is going to be. If we don't get any reply, I'm not sure what else we've done. There's been phone calls that haven't been returned for several months, 2 or 3 months at least. We've sent emails. We finally got this answer back. So this is all we can do. If we don't hear anything from these people, I don't see where else it's going to go. We have tried many different things and we're not getting any feedback for anybody that's interested. So that's about it. Try to be over to LWVA on the 13th. If you want to have some say on the landscaping and also
The
on solar
islands.
lights.
The 6 islands out front.
Six,
Yeah, 6 islands
yeah,
out front.
yeah, that's part of the landscaping, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
so
So that's what we want. Try to be open here. That's all. Any questions?
Any questions? All right, thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
I can report on activities.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know where Helen has that concern, but it was just kind of start the meeting 5 minutes ago. We have our baked potato luncheon next month. I think it's the 14th.
14th.
And what I suggest is that we read Lisa's article and Around the Bend.
Oh, that's your suggestion? How about bingo?
Well, bingo is not real, was that activity?
Yes.
Come to bingo.
Bingo.
President, I'm out of order.
No, she was given a report,
What?
Helen Peterson's report. On
Tell the
activities.
manager's report?
Activities report.
People are bargaining back and forth and we're trying to run a meeting.
So communications, we just gave them. Good. No, activities. Right, we gave the activities report, things and potatoes. No salads. Yes, yes. Right, so now communications committee. Well, they're actually probably working, putting together a newsletter, because the 27th. Tomorrow it's the 28th, it goes through the doors. All right, governance committee. Yell loud.
Oh, raise two boys, no problem. Our last meeting was on February 13th. At which time we either ratified or approved for requests for modification. All of them were absolutely in order. I'm really happy to see that people are really looking at the forms and filling them in properly. And Nikki and Debbie have really been helpful in checking out certificates of insurance and what's the other thing?
License.
License. So that it makes our job really easier. It moves more quickly through the committee and things can be approved much more quickly. Marge Eels, who's here. Marge, one of our committee members, will be writing an article for Around the Bend each month, sort of giving a small eye view of what Covenants does and a different topic each month. And I think it'll really help people to understand not only what we do, but how we do it and why we do it. And finally, we are gearing up for our semi-annual inspection of balconies as well as the parking garages. And we know exactly what we want to be looking for. We'll be doing it in either late March, early April, and 6 months down the road from there. Assuming that by late March, early April, the weather is good enough for any of us to want to be outside. Then our next meeting is March
13th.
Thank you. March 13th is big. Yeah. Might be out of town that day.
We're gonna need those potatoes.
Definitely. Our next meeting is March 13th. Please come. We'd love to see you.
What time is the meeting?
What time?
What time?
10:30.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to management reports and food manager, Debbie.
Thank you all. Thank you, everybody, for the surprise. Okay, so this report is from December 1st through January 31st. We had 2 move-ins and 1 move-out. We conducted 3 orientations. Current units for sale is 520, 503, 906, and 1114. Current units for rent, none. I did not have to do any condo questionnaires. And I did 3 resale packets for the month of January. Sorry, I omitted that. And then, the in-unit service program, the tickets, we had 252, and that's for 2 months worth, okay? And we have 47 that were building tickets. 34 were put on hold for payment, and 17 were still open for various reasons. That probably has already changed since it's already been another month. And then window replacement, we had 4 window replacements, and that was on the balcony, and that's just the glass on the windows. We had a request for 2 full windows. That's a lot of money to replace 2 windows. That's the full frame and everything. That's almost $11,000 just to replace 2 windows. The unit owner is keeping an eye on it to see if anything happens, because it was, during the really cold snap we had, that she knows things were off kilter. But she's gonna keep an eye on it. And then the engineers, they scheduled, water shutoffs, 10 of them for the total of, 60 days. We had 6 minor water leaks, and those were in the units. And for management, we're reviewing the reserve study, and we're gonna be taking it to, building facilities. And I sent out the RFP for the hot water storage tank replacement. I'm working on an RFP for facade study and work. Gathering information for the community room. And for the future items, we have the spring HVAC inspections coming up, April 21st through May 2nd. Window washing will be in the month of June. Screen removal will be June 2nd through June 6th. Window washing will be June 9th through June 13th. Screen reinstall will be June 16th through June 20th. And believe it or not, we have the fall HVAC inspections from October 27th through November 7th. Next week, starting on March 4th, it is March, sorry. March 4th, they'll be doing the in-unit service drain inspections and drain treatment for the 9th floor on the 4th. The 11th will be the 10th floor. The 18th will be the 11th floor, and the 25th, for in-unit inspections. If there were any missed, that'll be the makeup day. I'm done.
Good. Any questions for you? Okay, thank you, Debbie. We'll go on to Shirley, money.
Oh, it's on. Okay, can you hear me? It's not on. It says it's green. So
Oh, just getting closer.
just not. I only need 1. I don't need 3.
Surround sound.
Right, we want surround sound so we can learn about our money.
Well, that one's not working.
This one's not working. Okay, this one is, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. All right, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, we have 2 treasurers' reports, one for December and one for January. I'm not gonna go through the entire one for December, although I have to say that the best news is that so far we have a surplus of $109,205 at the end of December. Now, this has to be checked and gone over to make sure it's has to be reviewed and audited to make sure we have that. But if we have that, it looks like we might be able to go on with our renovation of this room. So that would be wonderful. So we'll see how that goes as time goes on. Treasurer's report for January starts out with total assets of $1,374,442. Less total liabilities of $105,074. So we have total equity of $1,269,368. Less replacement reserves of $1,089,080. Less operating reserves, $175,214. And we have a surplus for this year so far of $5,074. Now, you may notice that we skipped one of the accounts. We did away with the working capital account. So now we just have the replacement reserves and the operating reserves. Our total asset summary shows that we have $121,753.47 in the operating reserves. In replacement reserves, we have $954,527, leaving us with total assets of $1,076,280. Our operating savings account is still at 4%. We have a couple CDs that are coming due soon, one in June, one in March. The one in March is at 5.25, that's gonna go down. The one in June is at 3.29. The rest of them are all over 4%, except the one that comes due in June. And, there's one other one that's at 3.95, so Morgan Stanley's doing a really good job with our investments and holdings, and I'm very pleased with them. They're very easy to work with. They get in touch with me immediately, and that's wonderful. Okay, so our total portfolio value as of the end of January was $1,076,280. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Okay, thank you,
All
Sharon.
right.
Okay. Let me get this back. All right, my report. I was going to actually talk about the fact that a building and grounds meeting next month, 13th. And we are having two things brought to them. What's really important is that we have a turnout from residents of Riverbend to show strength. They'll look at that and say, if there's only two people, well, they really don't care what we do. And one of the things we want to impress on them is that we want this done, and we would really like them to be footing the bill. Well, that's what we really need you there, so when you can come, you can speak when they talk about resident comments, just like we did here, saying you support this. It's important for our building to have that, right? So turn out, please turn out. It's vital for them to give us what we're looking for. Now, the other thing is kind of a little stinky wounds. I noticed in a few days, walking my dog out here, now that the snow's all gone, there seems to be a lot of waste. Outside. As you walk along the walkway around there, and I don't know, maybe people were thinking, I can't see it in the snow. Yeah, okay. Or we just need to remember, you got to pick up your pet waste. Don't leave it behind. Don't, hopefully no one sees it. Well, it's there. And I'm walking there with my dog and we see it and she checks it out and she says, oh, that's Fred. So please, if you're a dog owner, pet owner, pick up your dog. And that's all I have to say. So we'll move on to new business. We have a chance, hopefully everyone had a chance to review the financials and the various reports. If there's any questions, we'll move on to the next item, which is our that's the January. Let's move on to the resolution for TK Elevators PM contract on page 22. Well, then, you want to give us the background?
In 2023, TK Elevators completed the modernization of the 3 elevators. While the project was under construction, Riverbend maintained a contract with TK Elevators, which was set to expire on December 31st, 2024. TK Elevators contract team and Riverbend's attorney completed the amended changes in January of 2025. So the contract is being brought to you all. Building Facilities and Budget and Finance did recommend to send it to the board for approval. And, the cost of the elevator per year is $19,440, and that, let's see, 13, it's probably around, $5,500 savings that we get to save from going to gold from platinum. The biggest thing about the gold is that no overtime nobody will be sent in for overtime for the elevators, and we didn't approve that anyway, so they come during work hours. Annual increase may be up to 5%. And, I got them to cap it at 5% per year. So, for the next 5 years, it can go up each year up to 5%, but no more than that per year.
Yeah, and that was good that you did that, because the way it went before, they could go over 5%. But you got them to cap it and they accepted that.
Yes.
All right, so would someone like to actually, please read the proposed motion? Someone like to do
I'll
that?
read it.
Okay,
Proposed motion, I move to recommend awarding the maintenance contract, TK Elevators, but with the gold contract instead of the platinum contract at a quarterly cost. Is that monthly? Quarterly cost of $4,860. This amounts to an annual cost of $19,440. Annual increases may be up to 5% with a maximum cap of 5% per year. This line item will be coded under General Ledger Code 53-5545000-00-00. Okay.
do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mary Ann, seconded. All right, any discussion? You attended the building and facilities meeting, you probably heard all the discussion, or the budget and finance. Right.
One more little thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize. Once this gets sent in, because we're paying for a platinum month by month right now, they'll credit us back to gold. So whatever we paid, they'll credit us back
Good. So we saving some money.
again.
All right, well, if there's no further discussion, I'll have a call for the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next up is the approved amendment AR number 27, selected LWA responsibility to lesson base 41. So this is the procedure for electing 2-member representatives to serve on the LWA. Oh, stand by. And at the selection of the representatives at an organizational meeting, or the first board of directors meeting of the new board following each annual meeting of the association, the board will appoint a Riverbend board member or a non-board member owner to serve one of the designated member representatives for the following calendar year. The Board of Directors will appoint the second representative for a 1-year term on the LWPA board, with the term of the appointed representative starting January 1st. The procedures for electing the king. The qualifications is the 2 members must be owners in good standing. The terms of service are a 1-year term of service. Representatives may serve multiple terms, but they are basically appointed each year. And the responsibility is each representative holds 1/2 of Riverbend's votes on the LWBA board of members. If a representative is not available for a meeting, she will give the proxy to the other Riverbend representative. Vice president and other members of the board of directors or current chair of the Riverbend committee shall serve as a proxy in the event the other representative is not available for a proxy vote. The proxies are established in accordance with Article 5, Section 5.3 for the declarations of LWVA. Representatives shall abide by the terms of the declarations for LWVA. Vacancies, if a representative, either elected or appointed, is unique or unable to, for any reason, complete the term, the Riverbend Board of Directors will designate a duly qualified owner to serve until the end of that term. The only other thing I would like to add is, which is a correction, and other buildings are doing it too. If a member, one of the two members, can't be there, they can pass the proxy to the other member and say, okay, you vote for me. Or the member can say to someone else, I would like you, a member of the LWVA Board of Members, to be my proxy. So it's not just the other LW or the other Riverbend rep, it could be any other member on the Board of Directors. So you're saying is that it's staying within the Board of Directors, and part of that is for a very important reason, is that the LWVA Board of Directors had an oath of office, they took the oath and they signed the thing, especially when we go into executive sessions, and those executive sessions are confidential. A new person who's not acquainted with it, let's say Don blows over there as vice president, he serves in my stead. He doesn't know all the discussion that's going on and is unaware of the background of the topics and also the confidentiality side of it. So he doesn't come back and say, boy, you wouldn't believe what I heard today. But we know he wouldn't do that. Because
You can't hear anything.
so that's the one correction I would like to add in there, is that the LWVA rep 1 or 2 who doesn't serve or can't serve because they're out of town or whatever, can pass the proxy either to the LWVA other rep or to another rep within LWVA, okay? No.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
Oh, it sounded like they changed how we were going to appoint our members. Can the president still be just,
We will follow the elections. We have the elections for the 2 seats,
okay?
okay? Riverbend.
Well, we only have it for 1 seat. President goes and then,
Well,
yeah,
yes, the president is automatically how we've set it up. The president goes,
so that's still the same,
yes.
okay?
Now, the only building I know of that does it where the board appoints people is Blue Ridge. They're the only ones who don't hold elections. And so it's just like, okay, you can do it that way, but we're planning to do it with elections. And that's how we get our board. So we have this year in October, September, we have 2 people whose terms are up. They can choose to run again, but those will be 2 seats that'll be open.
Well, just 1, the president goes.
No. I'm saying that rep 1, rep 2. But I'm saying on our board, when we have our board has 2 people coming due on the board, and then rep 1 or rep 2 is also open. So we'll have 3 open positions this September.
So all that changes is the proxy, the way we do proxy.
Correct. Okay. So any other discussion?
I have a question. You're talking about reps to the LWVA Board of Members.
Yes,
Currently, from here, we have 2 people.
correct.
The president and someone that was elected. Are you talking about 3 people?
No. When I was talking this September, when we have elections, we have 2 people on the board, Riverbend Board, whose terms are coming up. They're ending. So you have those 2, and then we have a rep 2 position that is also going to be on the ballot.
I get it straight now. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, so can I have a motion to approve? Okay, so I have a motion. May I have a motion to talk about the procedures for electing 2-member representatives to serve on the LWVA board? Motion? Okay. I have a second. Second, Mary Ann. Okay. We talked about that. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any nays? No. Good.
Voting.
He voted.
I don't understand what we're doing, but it's okay. It's one of the secrets.
Yeah, we secrecy. Okay, policy resolution number 19, which is banning on page 44 of your thing.
This is just for you all to review.
So banning notices. And this is something that's, I guess, has first started at LWBA. They wrote up banning order,
Mhm.
and now we're looking at adapting that to our association as a policy resolution. And essentially, a ban notice substantially in the format attached to Exhibit A in the resolution may be issued by the association manager to a non-resident of the association. For the purposes of this resolution, a non-resident is defined as an individual who does not own a unit in the association and is not listed as an authorized occupant in a current lease in the association. And hopefully you had a chance to look through all that, and if you have any questions, let's discuss it.
I'm very concerned about this resolution. Not because I wouldn't want to empower the person to be able to do what this resolution wants to do. I'm fearful of the person having to act independently without some backup. In other words, if Debbie, I don't mean to be personal, but Debbie has to discipline someone, that person is going after Debbie. And I don't, you're laying out there without board protection or a committee, or somebody should. My instincts are this, we ought to have some vehicle whereby when she's going to exercise that option, we give her some backup, if I'm making sense.
Backup in what?
Well, I mean, she's gonna reprimand people and say they can't come in.
Or they're gonna kick someone
That goes
out.
on her.
Right, they're gonna kick someone out because of disruption. So say that person can't come back in again.
We've only had a few
I know what
cases
we've had,
to
but
where we needed to do this, but
to say hypothetically, the individual you're reprimanding is gonna come back after you because you being the person who's reprimanding them. And I'm uncomfortable putting you in that kind of a position. If that makes any sense. I read this thing several times, and I'm not trying to make
No,
problems.
I understand, but how would you see, what backup can we give her?
Just board approval.
Maybe we have a committee, you
Well,
know,
there's the governance committee that would.
okay,
that
then
possibly-
maybe she goes to the governance committee. I would just like to have something that protects her. The governance committee is fine, I mean, you know,
We'll be happy to help her.
Would that cause undue delay in taking care of a situation?
well, I mean, if it's, it depends on the situation. If it, something that happens to where someone's harming
Right.
someone that lives here, that I can, well, first we'll call 911 to get the police here. And then I can issue that. I can issue this. I mean, it's not gonna be like, you know, just because somebody bought the groceries in the wrong way, they're being banned or something. It's just, we've had several instances where we needed to have something like this in place so that we would have a leg to stand on because they did not reside here and they,
and that is appropriate. And what happened was, the individual, there was an order against the individual could not be enforced by us.
right.
And so, and that put Debbie in a terrible position. I'm 100% behind that. I just don't want her hanging out there as the responsible person in and of herself. I mean, that individual, for example, if you take that particular instance, if she made the decision, you're not allowed here, after what he did to this other person, he may come after her, and that bothers, that's what worries me. That makes any sense. When I read this, that's the concern that I had. If you go to covenants, you call covenants, you have backup, it's covenant says you're not allowed here, it's not Deborah.
But the only thing you have to be careful of is that you have to have fast action.
Right.
I agree.
So that's the biggest problem, is whether or not covenants can be a fast reactor and say yea or nay.
I don't want to interfere with any of
Proud
you.
of us on that, it's, so.
Debbie?
We can certainly get.
How is this implemented?
As
Does the resident
Debbie.
come to you with a complaint and you issue the ban?
Upon written request by an owner, resident, or an employee demonstrating a basis for issuing the barring notice, the association manager may request additional information support for the request before issuing. So it would be investigated before, and either covenants and the board will be informed because, I mean, either way, both of you need to be informed because,
You missed my point.
oh, I
I'm
understand.
not worried about your actions. I'm worried about the repercussions an individual take against you because you issued the order. That's what I'm worried about.
But that would happen whether the board approved banning. or-
Well, yeah, I think the person's,
Sharing the order, not you. We're deciding this.
Well, that's exactly what he's asking you to do.
Yeah, we're doing it, not you. You're carrying it out. for us.
my instincts are not coming out clear.
She's the deliverer of the bad news saying, you gotta be out of here right now, and I got police, go.
Well, I'd have the police here first, then I would do it. But
Well, that's,
still,
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
But isn't this, does the banning order go to the security?
yes.
Yeah.
Ends up going to security. It goes to LWVA and security. So that the person comes in now, the person can be coming by going, they know the code, they can walk in on the day.
all in favor.
But the thing is that if they walk in and they have a ban notice against them, then we can call the police and
Right.
ask them to be removed from the premises. Whereas before, we didn't have that right at all.
I understand that. I want you to have that power. I'm just trying to protect.
Well, y'all got me in that little dungeon back there, so they can't see me.
Ban notice sent to the person?
Um,
Or just like a surprise, they come in, they find out they're banned. They don't need notice.
I don't even know if it's a code being banned. The option's happening right
Because,
now.
yeah, they've already, the people that we already know they're
Okay.
on the list.
Could I ask for a
The fact of the matter is the individual taking bans against are not nice people.
Right.
Okay, and that's what worries me.
well, somebody has to do it
I
though.
know they do, but that's what I'm trying to say. It shouldn't. Okay, I won't read. I won't. Okay.
I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand, but someone needs to, you have me here because I'm your managing agent for the board and covenants, and
But can we add or figure out a way, if you say the ban is necessary, you can call Loudoun County Sheriff immediately, so it's simultaneously, I get you, you're protected. I want you protected.
okay,
Because when you tell the turkey or the turkeys they can't come, they're coming after you.
Maybe. All right, well, this is a discussion, so we need to maybe rewrite this a little bit to come up with what Don is talking about.
mhm.
But I don't want to stop this. I'm not
Well, this
interested
is
in
just-
stopping this.
We aren't voting to
Yeah, we're
approve
just
it.
reviewing this right now.
We're just reviewing it.
We can
Okay,
amend
I
it.
want her to have that power. That's not my concern at all. I trust her implicitly.
And our attorney is,
Go ahead, Jeff.
Wants to allow the banned person back in the building. What rights do we have?
Oh, this is the board's discussion, not hers.
Oh. Well,
She's
this
on
will probably override
covenants.
that.
This is the board's discussion.
But they're putting it
You have
on,
your time, 3 minutes from now.
well, but it'll be, this.
This is the board's discussion, please. But what were you gonna say?
No, but it's.
I don't remember,
You remember? Okay.
it's a birthday thing, I don't remember.
Board resolution.
Well, we're
You were
good.
saying something about that.
Debbie,
Oh,
are we intending to vote on this resolution?
no,
Okay,
no,
this is
it's just for you all to review and then, if,
We can adjust, make adjustments.
I mean, it can go back to the attorney, it can go, after the attorney, it can go to covenants and then it comes back to y'all. But it's just, otherwise it sort of reflects what LWVA has, not word for word.
And the resolution is proper. No question. How does LWA handle it? Are they at all concerned the repercussions of individuals they ban? They don't have the same issue that we do. You're telling somebody can't come into the place of residence. They're saying they can't come into the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, no, if LWVA says they're not allowed, they're not allowed on premises.
Okay.
So,
Can't get through the gates.
right,
Well, take my instincts for what they're worth, that's all. I'm just concerned for your safety, that's all.
Okay. We will move on to the next, which is the appointment to independent committee members. Now, here we have a Lauren Greenberg, appointed to the committee
activities.
activities. Dr. Hill is appointed for the zoning. And everyone else is in place already, so
And Lisa
please.
Conte.
The honors being appointed.
Oh,
Okay. All right, so, do we have a motion to approve them? Do we approve these appointments?
I move to recommend the approval of Scott Wilson to the LWPA Building and Grounds Committee.
Second.
Give them all. This is going to communications. I love you with communications. John Bloomberg at Riverbends.
Yeah.
building facilities, building and grounds.
Two, now it's up.
Join Bloomberg,
It's going to activities.
activities.
Yes. That's why I had them separate.
All right. That was the Riverbend activities.
Yes.
Okay. So we got two going to the LWDAs and one going to the. Yeah, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
And can I,
Second.
Jack,
Yes, ma'am.
for the LWVA External Communications or Communications Committee, that's unlimited. So, we don't have anybody on that committee. So if you, are interested in jumping on the committee, that would be great. Can you read page 50?
Page 50. We want to acknowledge the value of Riverbend's voices in enhancing both Riverbend building and LWDA in the community. Your input is significant contribution and should be actively.
Didn't say nothing to me.
There are open seats available at LWDA for Riverbend representatives, presenting an opportunity for you to volunteer and get involved. Your participation can help shape the future of our community and ensure your perspectives are represented. We encourage all interested persons to consider volunteering for these positions. And I would also add, if you have an interest, go to that committee's meeting and see what they're actually doing. Before you say, yeah, I want to be on that, okay? I think here, don't we have a thing where you have to attend a couple meetings before you can become a Riverbend? So it makes sense to be the same thing. Go to a couple meetings at LWDA and see what they're doing before you say, oh yeah, I'll sign up. Because then you can be ready. It's a joke. You never regret volunteering. It's very important to do. Okay, we'll move on to resolution number 2, procedure for adoption of policy resolutions.
That's just to show so everybody will know how the resolution is adopted and
For the board members to know how resolutions are adopted.
yes.
Does everyone have a look at that? Any questions?
Because one of them was administrative resolution, the other one was policy resolution. So
Difference between the two. But the other one is policy resolution number 3. It talks about the administrative resolutions and what our responsibilities are there. Okay, now let's move on to the discussion of LWVA and Yellowstone. What do we need to know? This is our landscape, except for each meeting is coming up
March 13th at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
We might have to talk to Elizabeth, see if we can move the meeting to like 2 o'clock for her. covenants. Because we,
I do.
okay.
I'm just not sure if I can respond.
So with the front enhancement, we had a working group of, who had put together six of the islands out there. What we have right now is that pampas grass that keeps growing up, and it's sort of a trip hazard for residents, because if you go past it, you're trying to get around it and everything. If your car is parked next to it, it's covering up the curb, and then you get tangled up trying to get into your car. So we requested to have, well, the working group requested to have that removed and to put in perennials instead of annual plants. And so that it would come back year after year. And they did a really great job, so it's being presented to Building and Grounds so that they can see, you know, whether or not they're going to approve it and everything. But the biggest thing that the working group wanted to do was to have it unified out front and to make it presentable like the other buildings. If you go to the other buildings, it's nice and clean and everything. So that you can, when you come into the building, that the front will match when you walk into the building. So, because we got the interior of the building completed, so they're just trying to match up what's.
And one thing to understand is, you know, the grasses that we have out there. The landscaper every year goes by and plants the same set of flowers in front of every building. You know, grasses grow up and you don't even see them. They're useless. Why are we spending that money? And so let's get rid of those. I thought that those grasses were a bad idea to begin with. To have everything around and then the center hidden. I don't understand the concept there. But that's what they did and that's what we stuck with. It's gonna be difficult to pull out those grasses because they have deep roots. So pulling those out, it's gonna take probably, I'd say, a couple seasons before we get this really looking good. But this is that start. We want Yellowstone, who everyone I think still knows that they're doing a great job. We want them involved so that they can help us get rid of those pampas grasses, or those grasses, and get them out there and start that unification. So when you come into our building, it looks great. Other buildings have gone with the concept of having planters on either side of the pillars as you come in, and they would have annual grasses there. I think 2 buildings have gone with that concept. The others have rejected it. They don't like the pillar or the bases or large planters because they see that as a hazard that a car or truck can run into. And then you're back to zero. So I think our plan, this group did a great job. The working group did a very, very good job in coming up with the concept. But I'm hoping again, by show of force, people there, we can say, listen, our building wants this. Right?
And they actually, when they put the plan together, when they picked the plants out, they staggered it to where, okay, this will be early spring, this will be midsummer, and so that you'll have some kind of color coming up during the whole season, not just at one time. So the working group did a really great job with it.
Okay, I think that was just for discussion.
Just for discussion.
So the last item on our new business is the discuss the installation of solar lights along building sidewalks. And again, this is discussion.
Discussion.
So that we can tell Building and Grounds that this is what we would like to do here. All right, and I'll open it by saying, I know other buildings have installed solar lights along their walkway already, so that they have it sprinkled, it's just to get it going when we're there. Tell them this is. We don't have any tripping balls.
There's 4 areas that were of concern, so, and they're marked on the on the picture. It was really cold when I went out there and took those pictures too, by the way. The wind was blowing. I had to come back in after one picture. I just never felt that cold before. I was like, oh,
Your iPhone didn't freeze up,
no,
okay.
okay.
How expensive would it be to put electric lights there?
They'll be using our electricity. I don't know.
I think, we would have to ask LWVA
Oh,
to install.
'cause, I mean, I don't control the sun, but when the sun doesn't shine, neither do the lights.
They put up,
No, winter time when I went out, summertime,
you're talking about the backyard here.
Yeah. So the solar power depends on the sun.
But electric power.
It's a question, that's all.
Yeah.
I'll just ask them to stay in that night. I'll just ask everybody to stay in that night so they don't fall.
Most of those solar lights have a battery assist. There's a battery in most of those solar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see in here on this picture, Don, is not what we have out back. We just went and got, trail motion cameras to turn them on.
Mm-hmm. And this would be covered by Riverbend. It'll probably be less than what, 200?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be,
No,
They were $27 a piece.
it's only about $30.
oh, it'll probably be less than 150.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll just put them on the stake that's there, that's in the picture, and, the engineers will put them in. But at least it'll light your path so you can see along the building way.
Just in building grounds, and it's no financial impact on the LWVA, so they built the board over there, should we just approve it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, last but not least. Yay. Resident forum. 3 minutes. We got yours ready. Yes, George.
Next Wednesday, we have 2 people coming to speak to us on fall prevention. They're both work for Fran Hurley Center as a business of physical therapy. And these are professionals in it, and I'm sure some of us want to talk about fall prevention. It'll be on the 5th at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock here in the community.
Yes, here in this room.
Yeah.
Fall prevention.
Oh, preventing.
Preventing falls.
Not the season, but the.
We want to prevent fall from returning.
We'll hire form to get that one taken care of.
Wrap new ones, bubble wrap.
Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, as a result of the in-unit inspections that the engineers did, I was cited for my laundry room valves. And I'm wondering what, if anything, is being done to possibly get a bulk rate, because I'm sure that involves many, many residents, if not all.
We're working on it, but when residents are getting it done before we can even work on it. So like tomorrow, we have 3 of them being done tomorrow, being replaced.
By the residents.
No. I mean, what company? Are they resident doing it themselves?
No, Oscar Torres.
Oh, Oscar Torres is doing it.
Yes, and he has his plumbing license and everything. So
Charges?
what is it about for?
With our water shut off, it is about $525. Now, if we go with J Hood or Emmy Flow, it is gonna cost about $1,000. So he is about half than what J Hood and Emmy Flow is.
Could we coordinate different, only shutting off the water while they do different levels? I mean, wouldn't that?
We would like to do that if I have enough residents that come to me or send me an email that they want to get it done. I know tomorrow we have, I don't remember, but I know we have one tier, 1104. So the 4th tier, there's gonna be 2 of them getting changed tomorrow for the 4th
So
tier.
anyway, come to you.
Come to me and we're gonna try to get that done.
Somebody. Oscar Torres.
Torres Projects.
Torres Projects, they're trying to always park in the back.
He's very, very good.
But just to let you know that if you do it by tier and if you have like 4 or 5 people, you just got to allow time for him to work down the tier. And
Then you share in the shut off cost.
yeah, but something might happen along the way to where the rest of them are not getting done that day.
Right, but if they get done that day, you're
Yes.
sharing that, all that cost of what you're charging to
Yes.
have the water shut off.
Mhm.
That makes, so it'll be less than $500.
Right. I have a question, a quick question. Is this now required by the building that we have the valves, the laundry room valves done? 'Cause
It's not a requirement, it's a request.
Yeah.
Because more than likely you have 28-year-old valves and they can just pop.
Condo.
And sometimes the handle just pops off and it causes,
No, I know we talked about, Debbie, you and I talked about this once before, and I wasn't sure what you had, oh man, you were the reminder.
the biggest thing, the biggest push forward is for the insurance, because if we have everything in place for the insurance, like if you have the drain pan underneath your washer, underneath your HVAC unit, and then your valves change and you have the water alarms, then the insurance company can see that we are doing, not only the building manager, but the residents are doing what they can to prevent catastrophe.
Becky, if this is good for you, why don't you waive that charge to turn off the tier?
Well, if we had 3 or more, then we will.
Great negotiating skills.
Are they fantastic?
But I'm not waiving anything else.
Maybe be good to
Let everybody know.
people in the tier know that the water's getting.
Well, we're still doing the in-unit inspection.
No,
so we-
We just need to check in with Nikki.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, any other resident comments? Okay, if not, we have to move into executive session. So you guys will leave, that'll take on the way out, but do I have a motion to go into executive session? No. Second?
Thank you, Debbie.
Okay.
You're welcome. Stop recording.
Put a list of the condos that are for sale,
Yes, I can give that to you.
and also tell me who the agents are.
Yep.
Great.
I'll try to. I don't